What is going on, the overemployed army? Today we're going to be talking about how to make more money by not reinventing the wheel. Before I get into that, remember to check out the Overemployed Masterclass linked in the pinned comment and description box below. We teach you how to become and how to stay overemployed. Also remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. So how are you going to make more money by not reinventing the wheel? So basically what I want you to think about is not always trying to innovate and do something different. You have to realize that a lot of people have already paved the path for you to become successful. And it doesn't mean that you're taking a cheat code or you're copying or anything. It's more so just knowing your skill set and pursuing the things that have proven track records of being successful, right? And a lot of you can relate to this when you're thinking about fields, jobs to apply to, whether you're overemployed or not, or even in a normal business venture, right? You're thinking about what fields to pursue. And maybe you already have some skills and maybe you don't. Obviously, if you have no skills to start with, you're going to need to learn something, right? You're going to need to build skills, things like that. But let's say you already have some skills, right? Mostly everybody has some type of strength, right? I really want you to think about leaning into and doubling down on your strengths. Now, obviously, always also improve your weaknesses as much as you can, but always focus on your strengths because that is what's going to bring you the most leverage and momentum because you're already succeeding in that. You don't need to reinvent yourself and your skill set if you already have proven success with a weapon, right? Your weapon, whether it's programming, whether it's marketing, whether it's sales, whether it's talking well, being a very good communicator, whether it's starting a business venture, maybe you have experience making concrete, right? Whatever it is, selling doors, it doesn't matter. The point is double down on your strengths because you already have momentum in that. You don't need to spend time for over a year learning something new and then having to get into an entry-level position and then having to spend another year getting into an intermediate position, right? Like if you already have a very strong strength, I want you to double down on it. Don't think, because the problem is a lot of you get shiny object syndrome. Now, if you've never heard of shiny object syndrome, what it is basically is everybody starts new things, right? And when they start new things, let's say maybe after you got into school, you got familiar with programming, for example, but maybe you graduated, you got some intermediate skills, but you started thinking, I'm decent at programming now and it's kind of cool, but maybe I want to start an e-commerce store, right? Now, is that an option? I mean, sure it is, but if you already have that skill built, you're obviously going to be more likely to look at new things. And that's why it's called shiny object syndrome, because you start getting bored and irritated with the level of skill needed to get even better at what you're currently doing, right? You're at a point where you've learned a lot already and you want to jump to the new thing because it's always easier in the beginning, right? Everyone wants to kind of quit because they like quitting when it really becomes a struggle, right? Because after you've spent maybe a year or two, then that's really when it gets difficult. But it's also the time where if you stick with it, if you stick through that struggle, that's where also you'll become one of the best people in your field or in your skill set, right? So don't get shiny object syndrome. Don't start struggling a little bit and thinking, I want to go do something else now because this is getting hard again. No, just keep sticking with it and double down on your strengths, right? If you lean into your strengths, you're going to succeed more. And I want you to relate this to job searching and things because a lot of you try to venture into different fields or different industries when you don't really have to, maybe you got bored. Well, who cares if you're bored? You're going to get bored again in that new field anyways. So let's say you work in aerospace and now you want to work in e-commerce, right? Whatever. You're going to get bored of e-commerce too if you already got bored of aerospace. Like it's just how it is. Now, obviously people have passions and those do change somewhat. But if you've noticed a pattern in your life of you flip-flopping between different career fields or paths or industries, then just recognize that, right? Have that self-awareness to recognize what you're doing. Recognize that you have shiny object syndrome. You are flip-flopping and stop doing it. Stick with something. It's supposed to get boring. Nothing is always going to be super exciting and fun to do every single year, every single day, right? You're inevitably going to get bored of everything anyways. So stick with the thing that can actually provide you the most leverage, right? Make you the most money because you already have that momentum. You have that speed in that skill set. So keep doing it. If you guys have any experience with this, or if you've ever noticed yourself being in that flip-floppy stage and you've got out of it, leave a comment down below. Love to hear it. Remember, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.